Hi everyone, we've got San Diego starts this evening, 7:30. A couple of interesting matches when I was going through the research earlier on. It's actually the first two matches that stood out. We've got Parks Potapova at 7:30, Paolini Navarro at 9 o'clock. Thought it was worth just going through. I expect the underdogs to be competitive in both of those matches. Let's take a look. Okay. I'll look at Parks Potapova first. So we can see that they haven't met. Playing on a hard court win percentages better for Potapova. Parks really has a game that should be suitable for hard court. She does well indoors. She's starting to perform a little bit better on the outdoor courts as well. She's won 20 of her last 50 and 6 of 17 in the last 12 months. But 6 of 15 this year. She started to perform better this season. Not amazing results for Potapova, to be honest. 23 out of the last 50. 11 out of 25 in the last year. 8 from 11. In 2023. So they didn't do anything there last year. Nothing in the tournament record. Actually, first of all, let's go down to the stats. Obviously, I've had recent videos out showing a quick way to check the stats. Let's see if that's going to help us on this one. So selected hard court, main tour, and 1 year. So if we start off, service holds favour Parks. First serve points win percentage favours Parks. Second serve win percentages favour Potapova. Return games favour Potapova, and predicted holds favour Potapova. So just looking at those, slight edge for Parks on serve, but because Potapova's got predicted holds, strongly suggests it's going to go to 3 sets. So that's a start point. Now initially when I look at a match, just by looking at the players, I get an idea in my head as to who I expect to be the better player before I even look at any stats or the price or anything. What I need to be careful of is that I don't then interpret the stats to match what my initial opinion is. Because if the stats start to tell me something different, I need to take that seriously. It may not necessarily in every case change my mind, but you've got to accept sometimes that you're wrong, that your initial opinion is wrong. So let's look in a little bit more detail. So I'll look at Parks first on the left hand side. Lost in the first round at the US Open, but that's a decent performance against Kazatkina. Took her to 3 sets. In Cincinnati in the qualifying rounds, beats Fonareva a few years ago. That would have been impressive, not so much these days. But Sasnovich is a tough opponent on hard court. Third set tiebreak, Parks lost in that one, so that's a good performance as well. So like I said a few minutes ago, she's starting to perform better on the outdoor courts. Montreal, still in August, made it through the qualifying rounds. Decent win over Buxer, but Buxer was poor in that one, to be honest. Davis was favourite. Parks beat her in 3 sets. That's a solid win. Davis has been doing well. And then Bencic beat her in 3 sets. And 3 pretty close sets as well. So that's an impressive week for her there. But if you see as we go earlier in the season, very little success on hard courts. Second round, in Merida. Lost in the qualifying rounds of the Australian Open. So it's only fairly recently that she started to put some better performances in. Let's take a look at Potapova. Towson is a quality player. She's had some injury issues. I didn't expect her to beat Potapova at the US Open, but she did so in 3 sets. Cincinnati, I mean, pretty much what you'd expect there. I'd expected to win the first round match with Bondrasova. Fairly strong favourite in that one. Tough draw in Montreal. Markova beat her in 2 sets. She did take it to a tiebreak in the first. Potapova retired in Washington, July. Now earlier in the season, that was by far her best week. Quarterfinals in Miami. Easy win over Kostyuk there. Beat Goff, obviously the new US Open champion. Though Goff wasn't at her best back in March. She was having problems with her serve. Good win over Zheng, straight sets. And that's a decent performance against Pegula. Only lost in a 3rd set tiebreak. So that's definitely a positive week for her. And again, her best results have been early in the year. Again, Pegula took it to 3. Needed 3 sets against Wong in that one. Lost to Bolinets. That's not impressive. She was 1.37 favourite in that one. Second round, lost to Paris Diaz on a hard court in straight sets. That's not impressive either. Okay, so let's go back down to the bottom. So what that has shown us, that looking at individual matches, that Parks has had her better performances recently. Potapova has had her better performances earlier in the year, and more recently not doing quite so well. So if it's select instead of a year, 90 days, that really tells us the same story as the matches have just told us. Stats now favour service holds Parks, return points 1 Parks, first serve points 1 Parks, second serve points 1 Parks, and predicted holds Parks. So Potapova, that sounded very posh. Potapova starts around, let's say, 1.5. I did think that she would be favourite. I didn't quite expect it to be so much of a favourite because of her recent form before I started looking at the stats. I think Parks has got a chance, definitely, to take it to 3 sets. And a chance to win it, unless she has a bit of a nightmare. She's got a decent serve. She's starting to make the most of that serve on the outdoor courts as well as the indoor courts. So for trading points of view, let me just see. Betfair this morning, she was 1.49. So more or less the same as Pinnacle had it. I'd be looking to lay Potapova around about 1.3. Take some liability out, about 1.65, and it's worth a lay of the set 1 winner. It was tough to pick a winner, but definitely the values on Parks in that one. Okay, so that was the first match. Let's also look at Paolini against Navarro. Okay, so again, they haven't played before, no previous matches. We're on hard courts. Win percentages on hard courts favour Paolini. Long term, which is the last 50 matches, 12 months, she leads, and they're even in 2023. She didn't play last season at this tournament. Navarro did, and lost in the qualifying round to Kalinskaya. You see that Navarro's come through the qualifying rounds, straight sets in both. She was strong favourite in both, so she was expected to come through. But just coming through the qualifying rounds can be an advantage, because it means that you've played on, she's 2 matches already on these courts, and that can be an advantage. So let's try and do it in the same order as I did the last match. Let's go down to this section, make sure we're on the same filters. So hard courts, main tour, 1 year. Turn off all the other stuff, just looking at the percentages. So Navarro, slight lead on service holds. First serve points 1, favour her, but again pretty slight. Very close also on second serve points 1. 0.1 advantage to Paolini in that one. Excuse me. Return games 1, better for Navarro, and she also leads the predicted holds. Price wise, Paolini starts or was 1.75 this morning, so slight favourite. So I look at the matches. 3 sets for Paolini against Ostapenko at the US Open. Ostapenko had a strange tournament. She struggled in the opening rounds, then played really well and was too tired in the round where she went out. Too tired to play. Scheduling was shocking. Paolini lost to Wang, a slight favourite. Wong. It's Wong. Gotta remember that. Sorry, Chinese people. In Cleveland. She made the quarterfinals in Cincinnati, although Rybakina gave her a foot up there, retiring in the 3rd round. She beat Buxer, who's not having a good time at the moment. Kostyuk, she should have beaten her. Zorio, having a bit of a nightmare on hard courts this year, so she had a decent draw, but it's a good performance, obviously, to get to the quarterfinals. 3rd round in Montreal, walkover in the 2nd round for Keys. She had a bit of a leg up again. Good win over Vekic in the 1st round there. So they were in August. Now we're going to the early part of the season. So she made it through the qualifying rounds in Dubai, lost very weakly to Keys. No real criticism there. Keys having a good year. And that's about all she's done this year. So her best performances, to be fair, are more recently, last couple of months. She's had things on her side. Easy draw, retirement, walkover. Players not at the best. So bear that in mind. Okay, over to Navarro. So she's come through the qualifying rounds, matches that she would have been expected to win. She did so. A bit disappointing that she lost to Frech at the US Open. Went to 3 sets. Took Sasnovich to 3 in Cleveland. Martic to 3. She was underdog in that one. That's not a bad performance. Martic's been a little bit inconsistent this season, but when she's on, tough opponent on hard courts. Good win over Marino in 3 sets in the qualifying rounds there. Fernandez, 3 sets in the qualifying rounds. That was a disappointment. Schmiedlover in Miami. Lost that one in 3. 3 sets against Buxer. He was not having a great time, although she was doing better earlier on in the season. So she really hasn't had a lot at the start of the year. So in terms of actually progressing through tournaments, not a lot. You've probably got to give a slight edge to Paolini, but when you look at it in detail, how she got there, it looks better on paper than perhaps it was at the time. I think this is going to be pretty close. There's certainly nothing there to override what the stats are showing us. Slight favourite is Paolini, so 1.75. I think this is going to be another 3-setter. Navarro's got a great chance. And the fact that she's come through the qualifying rounds is just another tick in her box. That sounds painful. So for this one, okay, oops, similar plan. I'm going to lay Paolini around about 1.5, so she starts around 1.75, went a little bit lower than the start price. Remove liability at 1.9, and we've got a decent chance of 3 sets. And again, the underdog is in with a decent shout. So that's 2 matches for today. It'd be interesting to see how they pan out. I'll leave an update in the comments when the matches have been played. Good luck if you trade them.